Well, hello, everybody. Yes, I say it all the time. I cannot believe it is September already. It's like we went to sleep in March and just woke up in the middle of the month of September. And but you know, as a community, as a family, we're all getting through this time, and we are excited because this month is Hispanic Heritage Month, and we are celebrating our culture all month long in so many different ways. And so every Monday, Wednesday, it's something unique, and we're excited that you are tuning in and watching with us today. And so today we have a special treat. We have some great guests. But before we get started, as always, I want to thank our partners for the month. Walmart has been an incredible partner with the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber, supporting our small business programs and supporting so many different initiatives that we do every year. And so remind you that when you're out at your Walmart, we thank you and we thank them. Also want to thank New Mexico Tech. They have been our partners since the day that the world shut down, if you will, and they have never missed a beat. And so we're so thankful to the team out there. You know, Carlos Romero and Matthew Gallegos, Jermaine Otero. I'm thinking it's Noah behind the scenes today. We never know. But the whole team, we appreciate you guys and everything that you do, and letting us use your platform and being our IT partner during this time. So I believe it was yesterday that we actually launched Hispanic Heritage Month, traditionally, nationally, September 15th through October 15th. But if you're a true Hispanic, you celebrate all of September, all of October, and probably year-round. But we do like to take this month to highlight what we're doing and highlight the importance of what that month means to our community, what it means to our small businesses. And because that's our mission here at the Chamber, we have an incredible group today. Everybody on here, small business owners, leaders in organizations, partners in the community, partners with the Chamber in some way. Over the years. So we're going to highlight all of that today. So I cannot wait to introduce this panel. I'm kind of going to just start in the order of how things are on my screen. And so if you guys could introduce yourselves, who you are and what you do, and then we'll start a conversation. So I'm going to start with Nina.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Shannon. I'm Nina Chavez. I am the Corporate Giving and Events Manager for NDI New Mexico, National Dance Institute, New Mexico.
Woo woo. Excited to have you, Nina. Miss Sean.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Sean Wells y Delgado, and I am a fifth-generation Spanish colonial artist in the art form of retablo painting. And I'm also pretty well known for my Day of the Dead art, but I love everything New Mexico culture, and I love to share the stories of our history and our journey together through art.
Welcome, Sean. William.
Hello, everybody. I'm William Stafford. I'm one of the owners of Sadie's of New Mexico. We've been serving authentic New Mexican cuisine in the Albuquerque area since 1954. And Sadie's started in 1954, and we've just been cranking it out ever since. And we've got salsa products in the stores. I would venture to say that everybody on this panel has a jar of salsa in their refrigerator right now. I know I do. Yeah, so we're really excited to be here, and we're excited to see Sadie's keep going for another 64 years. And so thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Ryan?
Hi, my name is Ryan Montano. I am a trumpet player, and I am a songwriter and a video creator, and I'm a proud member of the Hispano Chamber of Commerce since January of this year, 2020. So thank you for the opportunity, and glad to be here and meet with everybody.
Thanks, Ryan. Alex?
Hi, everybody. My name is Alex Sanchez. I was born and raised in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I'm also an employee with NDI New Mexico. I'm an artistic associate, so I do directing, producing, and teaching for our organization.
Wonderful. Very excited to have you guys on. It's going to be a fun hour of conversation. You know, when we kind of plan out some of our months, some of our webinars, we kind of think about what are some of the things. This month was cultural, and we thought, oh my gosh, what do we do during this month? Usually we host the really big Hispanic Heritage Awards. You know, it involves dancing and music and food and all the things that we love to do. And Obviously, that's not going to happen this year, but we are going to do a hybrid version of some sort. So stay tuned for details. But speaking of, I kind of want to start with Sean because last year, Sean really, I wish I had it in front of me. I should have planned it better, but really stepped up and made us these incredibly beautiful awards. They were just, I can't even tell you, they're one of a kind, unique, that went out to our 10 awardees last year. So Sean, I want to start with you. Tell us a little bit about how you got started, what being in this culture means to you, and how you continue to propel moving forward.
Sure. I grew up in Santa Fe, and like most New Mexicans, you grow up immersed in the culture, and so you don't realize that it's unique or special because, everybody has crazy tios and tias, and the farolitos go out at Christmas, and the bizcochitos get served, and Spanish Market happens. It's just every day. And all I wanted to do when I got into college was get out of here. And it was wonderful. I got a wonderful education on the East Coast. And when the economy crashed, I had a degree in architecture, and I had practiced for 10 years. I loved it. And I actually found myself without a job, 2 sons, no money, and I came home to get family support. And when I came home, I really had been stripped down to my most humble self, and got to rebuild myself. Now I can look back at it as a gift. And many of us are going through that right now with coronavirus, that all the things that we thought were secure, our homes, our jobs, are suddenly tenuous and fleeting. And we have to really figure out who we are at our core. And so it brought me back to retablo painting, something I had done as a child. And at the time, it was just sort of like, well, maybe I can make some money doing this and feed my kids. But as I returned back to it, it's actually a traditional art form born here in New Mexico, northern New Mexico. And it's very, very specific in all the world, this weird intersection of Catholic traditions, Hispanic traditions, Spain influence, Mexican influence, indigenous influence. It was all this convergence of this one moment in time that was birthed about 400 years ago in this unique art form. And it's painting saints. So you can't really go into it with a got to make some money, you can't have that mindset. The guilt will overwhelm you, and these saints are just staring back at you as you're painting their little faces, just in judgment. So as I learned the stories and revisited the stories that I already knew, I was looking at it as a mother, as a person who had gone out in the world and failed, and I just was a different person than the little girl that participated in the youth market. And so in doing these paintings, I really found this soul of an artist that I've always been an artistic, but I really grew into this idea of being an artist. And I really fell in love with the culture all over again. It was just like second honeymoon for us. And I realized how unique it is to have grown up as a 5th generation artisan, and what a gift I could give to my own children, whether they pick it up or not, to be able to hand down the cultural stories and the cultural techniques of traditional retablo painting and the stories of the Hispanic traditions, and in turn share the Native American stories, our brothers and sister artists who have very parallel stories in their art forms and how they came to being. And we're all working to keep them alive. It's not something that people naturally gravitate to, these traditional arts. It's like classic cars, you have to get a taste for them, and you don't get a taste for them until you really learn about their backstory. So I love sharing that story. I hope I can share some of that today, but I feel very blessed to have had life kick me in the pants and fall out of the tree, and now I planted my seeds and I'm growing something new, and I'm glad that the Hispanic Chamber has done so much to help me do that.
Well, Sean, it's been a pleasure over the years. We've gotten to know each other pretty well, and we've done some pretty awesome projects together. But I think my highlight with you was seeing you at Spanish Market and seeing how your work is incredible and the stories you tell of the Santos. And so you're just such a vibrant part of this Albuquerque culture, this community. I know a lot of people reach out to you for classes and for instruction and for handmade pieces of art. So we're thankful to have you. So we're gonna circle around, but we're gonna come back with some more questions. I want to move over to William now, because we're gonna talk about like food culture now. We're talking about staples in the community. Now, I don't know about all you guys, but anybody that knows me that's out there watching, and all my friends and family are out there right now, they know where they can find me every Friday night. They know where they can find me for years and years and years on Friday nights. They know my favorite bartenders. They know my favorite food, and it's always Sadie's. I absolutely love it. That's home to me. I'm a North Valley girl, excuse me. I live right down the street, and so it's my go-to place. And so, William, please share with us the story of Sadie's, how it came to be, and bring us through to.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're there every Friday night. We really appreciate that. It helps me put my kids through school and all that fun stuff.
Margaritas and taquitos. That's all I want to say.
So my Aunt Sadie started her diner in 1954, and ironically, that building still stands. It's Low Skills Tire Shop at 2nd and Osuna. For those of you that know the North Valley, you know that little building, and you can drive by it right now. I actually live in the house that Aunt Sadie built, and we bought it in the 80s when she passed away, and we remodeled it. And so I'm literally 2 blocks away from the original Sadie's, and it was a 9-seat diner. She catered to the truckers coming down, and the grill that she used is still in the restaurant on the 4th Street location. And in the 70s, my parents decided to take over. Sadie had already been in business for a long time. And we went to the bowling alley. And for those of you that ever went, I don't know if any of you are old enough. I know some of the viewers are probably old enough. Sadie's was in the bowling alley from 1975 to 1991. And that's really where we got our reputation, where we were now on the map, really, with our margaritas and our salsa and our large portions and our service standards. And so from 75 to 91, we were there. 1990-ish, we realized we needed to get out of there. We needed our own building. And we found that land right there on 4th Street, which was just less than a block away. And so we started building the 4th Street location in 1990 and moved in 1991 and have been in that location ever since. And in 2009, we opened the Eubank location. And then shortly after that, the Academy location. But what people really, really think of as the home is the 4th Street location. It's kind of the matriarch of the restaurant. And it's, we've been doing it for a long time. And I have to say thank you first and foremost to everybody who's patronized us for so long. And there's so many stories like that, like yours, that they're always there and they always have been. And one of the things that we've strived for all of our lives, and Aunt Sadie taught us this, and we push this every day, is consistency. So when you walk in that restaurant and you order that burrito that you got in the bowling alley, it's the same thing. It's the same flavor. And I hope that everybody feels that way. A lot of people are, and this is a funny one. To this day, people still tell me, we liked it in the bowling alley better. Okay, that's cool. You realize it's almost 30 years ago. But yeah, and so everybody's got their quirks, but we love the community. We love the relationship that we've built with so many families. And I can elaborate on so many different stories. And from being the 9-seat diner to the 320-seat restaurant that it is now on 4th Street. And, with the COVID, we really haven't skipped a beat other than being cognizant about doing what the government is asking us to do. So yes, we're only at 25%, but there's still an hour wait to get in on Friday night. we have our outdoor patio open. And
Right, 2 hours now, William.
yeah, it's crazy. That's a testament to all of the people in the North Valley and beyond that have been coming to Sadie's, that I continuously come to Sadie's. And it's such a blessing. And I have to echo what Sean said, to just feel so blessed over the years and to have what we have and just keep on trucking. And when we get to it, I can tell you about our Harvest Festival. This is the first year that we've done it. And we're currently right in the middle of it in a Green Chili Harvest Festival. We've changed up our menu. I know you mentioned that a little bit. We've got a really cool chili menu now that we're testing out some new items. We just partnered with Lemitar, one of the farmers in Lemitar, to get fresh chili. We're roasting on Saturdays, and we're just keeping Sadie's relevant in this time of change. And I think we just got to keep on trucking. And here we go.
I think that you guys have at least another 60 years plus in you. You're such a staple in the community, and we're going to hear more about that menu shortly. And want to ask William about the best-selling item on the menu and his favorite item. And we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. But I want to skip over to Ryan really quick. Ryan's been a really big partner, a true partner over this past year. We've been so blessed to not only see his talent firsthand, but also see how his creativity unravels and how he works. I've had the pleasure of working with him on this a couple of times already this year. So Ryan, please tell us how you got started. You have a unique talent for sure. You don't get to meet musicians such as yourself every day. So share with us how you got started, a little bit about your passion for music.
Yes, so I've been playing the trumpet since I was 11 years old, and I'm 33 now, so 22 years. And I went to college. Actually, I was a music major for all of like a month, and then I decided the way that the educational system wanted you to learn music wasn't a good fit for my aspirations and what I wanted to do. So I actually decided to major in journalism and psychology. I double majored in journalism and psychology, and that's where I learned how to, use a camera and edit video and do motion graphics and animation. So I get hired a lot to, make music videos for a lot of people. I get hired, to, write songs, and I have my own band and we play across the country. And the way that, it's sad because I've watched COVID-19 and all the restrictions that have been placed therein kind of essentially take away the livelihood of a lot of my friends, a lot of my fellow musicians, a lot of touring musicians. And I consider myself blessed and lucky because my business model around my music is centered around like my main source of income comes from Sirius satellite radio because my music gets played on there and through CD sales or album sales. And so I'm okay. I'm doing fine. And so it's been fun to watch the transition from musicians essentially getting themselves out there and being live music based in terms of getting out their brand. And it's now shifted towards studio recordings, which has been nice because it's been fun to watch. It's been fun to get calls, to be on people's projects and to, write horn arrangements and write songs and to watch other people go into the studio. And so it's been fun to watch the musicians shift from a live music orientation to a studio recording orientation, because essentially that's the only way that we can continue to play music and have it be received by a public audience. So it's been really fun watching that. And, it's been fun to, create videos and I would say, the silver lining in all these shutdowns is that we've been able to create, and especially for myself, I've been able to just create content and songs and videos that I wouldn't have had time otherwise to do. So trying to stay positive in that regard and just trying to be some sort of force of positivity for fellow musicians. If I can, I've taken somewhat of a personal responsibility to help my fellow musicians around Albuquerque and bring them in on projects and help out with their projects and just try to build the industry that is in Albuquerque. Because I've said it for years and I'll continue to say it. I honestly think that Albuquerque could be one of the best places in the country to make music. It's a low cost of living. There's a lot of creativity. I just think it takes a little bit more of having other musicians buy into that mentality and have them really believe it, that yes, we can do things on the national and international level. There's a lot of musicians here that are already doing that. You know, Ryan McGarvey is a blues guitar player, and he tours all over the country and all over the world, really, over in Europe, and he's doing really well. My boy Kevin Harrig, you know, he's getting his music out on the Food Network and Delta Airlines, and there's lots of stuff happening. And so I think with this COVID-19 and people moving from live music to studio recordings, I think it's only going to augment Albuquerque being a place where people can make music full time. And when the restrictions, and hopefully soon, are lifted and we're able to get back to some semblance of normalcy, I think it'll only build that. And I think that musicians will continue to do the live stream concerts and continue to do the studio recordings and whatnot, in addition to going back out to performing in person. And I think it'll only continue to build and be positive through these hard times.
So you definitely bring up a good point, Ryan, and one of those is, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, that'll be the next question. We want to talk about how COVID has changed things, but it's been unique to see how the entertainment world has adjusted, and especially local musicians, and we've been, you know, excited to be a teeny little part of that. We'll talk about that shortly with our Music Monday series, but it's been really great. And again, you know, Ryan, we thank you for everything you do for the Chamber. You've been fantastic, and we can't wait to see what this next year holds. We're crossing our fingers on Gala. So,
I hope it comes through, and it's been great working for you guys and the musicians. We appreciate, you know, that you guys are getting sponsors and doing the Music Mondays, and whatever small part or however large, it's every little bit helps, and it contributes to the greater good for the music of Albuquerque.
Well, you know, the world of musicians and artisans is very different than, say, an insurance company or even a restaurateur, because you guys are solopreneurs and you're out there, you know, in a different way. So we wanted to come up with something a little bit different. It's sometimes harder to support that. So that's why we had to create that little series. So, and we actually are going to be working with some artisans coming up, Sean. So I'm going to be reaching out to you on a new project. So Nina, I would love to hear from you. Tell us a little bit about the history of NDI. How they came to be, and bring us forward a little bit about, you know, pre-COVID, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. I'm going to tag team this with Allie, but I will definitely start this off. So NDI New Mexico has been around for 26 years. We are starting our next year right now with the school year starting up again with students, and it is centered around the unique properties of the arts and therefore culture to embrace the growth and the success of children. And so, you know, using dance, using live music, we have pianists that go to all of our schools, is so rooted in what we do to see children grow. So over 26 years, NDI New Mexico has taken phenomenal instructors like Alex and our musicians across the state to interact with children in school during their school time, as well as after school in our various facilities that we have across the state. And I'm going to pass it over to Allie to tell some wonderful stories, but just the power of culture and the power of the arts and what it does to inspire and develop the tenacity of children. I mean, that's what we're all about. So culture is near and dear to us. But I'm going to pass it on to Allie to tell phenomenal stories of it in action.
Yeah, so we have served over 120,000 students since beginning 26 years ago. We've had over 82,000 audience members. We are a statewide organization. We have a residency program that visits 20 communities in a school year. We're in the North program. We have 10 schools there. We have a Santa Fe program. We serve 15 public schools there. And here in Albuquerque this year, we'll serve 25 of the public schools starting next week. So I wanted to go back a little bit and just talk about how this organization has impacted me so profoundly, because I feel like my background is so similar to the students that we serve. I definitely come from a low income family. We lived paycheck to paycheck. We definitely didn't have extra income for me or my brothers and sister to take extracurricular activities. So I luckily accidentally took a dance class in high school, and thankfully it clicked for me, and then I went and got my degree in dance from New Mexico State University. But what I love so much about NDI in Mexico is that it's free. We focus on low-income communities, underserved communities, and we go and we bring the arts like music and dancing to these kids who don't have extra money to go and take these kinds of classes and take an art class and take a music class and an acting class, dancing class. So it's so wonderful from those little programs like that in our outreach program. We've had students be invited to be part of our advanced teams who then get more free lessons in jazz and our NDI style choreography in tap. And from there, they can continue to take after school programs like ballet, modern acting, anything that you can think of. And so we've had so much success with these kids who come from these really underserved communities, low income communities, go on to have these professional careers and they become amazing artists. One of them has recently returned. His name is Gabe Garion Gonzalez, and he started in our outreach program at Navajo Elementary. He got invited to be on our advanced team and kind of climbed his way up. He became part of New Mexico Ballet Company, studied in Houston, and now he's back and he's an NDI teacher. So it's been so wonderful to see that impact that a program like this can have. So it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. I'll say lastly that I've had so many teachers, principals, family members come up to me after a program is done and say, I can't believe Jonathan got up there and was dancing. I can't believe Alicia is so confident in her classroom now. She was the quietest one. So countless stories like that where the program has really helped a child come out of their shell or find something in themselves that they didn't know was there. So it's really beautiful. This is like such a dream job. So I feel really lucky.
Yeah, what is the saying? If we do what we love, we never work a day in our lives. So, and I was so blessed and privileged to grow up in the dance world. I was with Fishbacks for about 20 years. And so I'm very familiar with that. And it's a big part of how we are and how we grow as a person, how we project ourselves. I was never the shy kid, in case you guys don't think I was, but it does help with confidence and being in front of people. And really, I also think with relationships, how you interact with other people and your partners and your team. So I think that's important. I want to just talk a little bit about how COVID has affected your business and what are some of the things that you've done. Now, I know with NDI, I'm going to stay with you guys and we'll go back around the other way. You've made some incredible adjustments. I know you have like your May Gala, there was all these things. So tell us just a little bit about some of the changes that you've had to go through and you've adjusted during this time.
Sure. So we are online now. We do live virtual classes. We launched it in the summer. We actually started way back in March with our after school programming. We got on Zoom immediately and we started teaching classes on Zoom. So it was really successful over the summer, thankfully. I will say that there was probably a small handful of families who said, we don't want to do it virtually, call us when things are back to normal and we'll get back to you in the in-person classes. But for the majority of our students, we kept them. We had a 10-week-long summer program where the kids stayed with us on Zoom the whole time. We just started our online after-school program on Zoom. And then just like I said, for our after-school programming, we're going to do Google Meet. So everything is live now. We're doing live virtual classes. Of course, it has changed the way that we interact with our students a little bit. It's definitely not the same as an in-person class, but we are actively finding ways to teach our curriculum, our methodology now on this new platform. And it's just, it's fun and it's challenging, and we're still, we got some things down really good now, and we're still figuring some things out. So we're just so happy that so many of the schools, even though this has happened, have said, yes, we want NDI back. How do we make it work? What do we need to do?
Well, I'm excited that you guys have been able to adjust during this time, because it's anybody who has any business or an organization at all knows we've all been through it and we're all adjusting. Thank God for technology, virtual technology, and I'm sure platforms like Zoom and Microsoft Teams and Blue Jeans and all the other ones that are out there are very happy, never thinking this was gonna happen. But so that's great that you guys have adjusted. Sean, I'd like to talk with you just a minute on this. I know that you've definitely not been able to do your shows, not been able to do rail yards markets, and of course we had to cancel Spanish markets. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing during this time.
Yeah, like you, I'm not a wallflower, so I miss seeing people giving out my hugs at shows. I really miss that human contact component. But like Ryan, I really like working with fellow artists to support them, and with the music industry too, we face a lot of the same challenges that we had to really learn to adapt. And so this space we're sitting in right now, this is part of that adaptation. I bought a trailer off of Facebook for $1,600, and I spent about 2 weeks renovating it to make it a full studio space with lighting and nice mic sound. And I need to hook you up with some nice lights and a mic too. But it made all the difference. Now I can broadcast live. I was able to produce a television series that's airing on public access channel on Comcast channel 27 on Mondays. At 3 and 5, I believe, where I can do traditional retablo painting, either live or recorded. And I can also do a children's show like NDI. I love working with children, and I know from my personal experience working with big brothers, big sisters, that if you can affect a child just 0.1%, you're creating a ripple through their life that is transforming society. So I think if we can reach children with creative arts and give them outlets to express their frustration and their dreams and hopes, that's a really powerful, satisfying direction. But I'm more aligned with Ryan. Like, I really love to work with contemporary artists who don't necessarily have access to a computer or great internet. And so I've invited some artists to come and broadcast from my studio space, and working with them to create classes to improve their Etsy shops. Really had to vamp up the online sales, and we're all learning to adapt. But I agree with Ryan. These are important changes that are going to stick, and they're good changes. So I think and as NDI adapted with the online Zoom classes right away, a lot of people were resistant to that concept. And they recognize right away we have to make these changes and embrace it and make it we're just going to be all that much stronger when we open the doors and the floods of people come to adore our creative arts again, because we now have a whole new avenue to reach a much broader audience. And now I can literally reach the entire world through these broadcasts. So I'm really excited to keep developing these online avenues.
Well, like you said, relevancy, and William said it to start us off. How do you remain relevant during these times? And again, even here at the Chamber, we've had to make a whole lot of changes to adjust to that. And so speaking of, relevancy and continuing the arts, food is like the most important part of our lives. No matter what happens, we're always centered around some sort of food and music and art. And Sadie's is definitely on that map. So one of the things, I was speaking with Brian, one of the other owners, earlier in the week, and we were chatting, and he was like, we have this menu. What can we do to get this menu out? And I said, we need to bring William on so that we could talk about this menu. So I'm excited to really hear about, like, you guys have a new menu, like a harvest menu, what it's about. Let's talk about all the elements of it. So please share with us. Oh, look at it. Ooh, I'm excited. We even have a new menu.
Yeah. It's really exciting, actually. What we've done is, I'm going to echo what I said earlier and what you just said about relevance. Although there's favorites, people have their favorites, and with all restaurants and all venues and all music and all of that fun stuff, we have to continue to figure out ways to come up with different things. We decided to do this Harvest Festival about 3 or 4 months ago. And there's some menu items on there that we were really excited about that we didn't know. Really, do we just start doing them and see what happens? Instead, what we decided to do was do it with a Harvest Festival. So, for example, we've got green chili queso fries now, and things like that. Now, I'm gonna revert back to you said something about earlier what my favorite was. My favorite to this day is the Roberto Special.
Of course, it's the best.
Which is named after my dad. And if you look at our menu from the very beginning, there's something on there that's named after each and every one of us. Brian's famous ribeye and ribs, Billy's spicy beef. And I got a lot of crazy comments from that, but that's been on the menu since the bowling alley. My wife's on there now with Amanda's salad. My mom, Betty Rancho burger, all of these staples, all of these wonderful items that people have gotten used to. But now we're doing just some really cool things. We've got a green chili brisket Rieno, and we're one of the only restaurants in the state that I know of that is actually putting some sort of meat, if you will, inside of a Rieno. And we're doing our brisket now in the Rieno, and it's been so popular that that's one of the items that's probably going to stay on the menu permanently. So we're kind of testing these things out. There's other things. There's a calabacito burrito, featuring this new chili that we're working with from Lemitar, blue corn enchiladas. Of course, our chili Rienos, a Rieno breakfast burrito. I don't know if anybody has ever had one of those, but that's delicious.
Yum.
You just take your chili. And did you ever go to the state fair and have the Rieno dog?
Of course.
Yes. That's one of my favorite things at the state fair is the Rieno dog, and deep frying that Rieno and putting it on a stick. We haven't gone that far, but I'll tell you, this menu is something that people should come out and check out. And this particular item, we've never really been some restaurant that's been known for dessert, because when you go there, by the time you get to your dessert, you're stuffed. You've had three baskets of chips and salsa. Your nachos is this high, and so dessert has never been something that we've really pushed until now. On this menu, we're doing what we're calling a sopanada. So it's like an empanada, but we make it out of our own sopapillas, and we did an apple green chili crisp sopanada, and it has gone through the roof. People are like, that I'm going to have that for dinner. And so just being creative and being relevant and all of that fun stuff with these menu items has been really fun. And it's been kind of a blessing and a fun way to get through this crazy COVID, whatever you want to call it. You want to call it new normal, you want to call it, I think it's something that's honestly, for all of us, it's not going away. And I have to echo what Ryan said earlier. My brother and I have had a band for 20 years. And right now we're strictly originals. It's art. It's one of our ways, and we don't have anywhere to play. We were playing at Sadie's as often as we can. We have nowhere to show off these songs that we've written and that really feel, you feel it from the inside out. So one of the best ways to get that out is just cook food. That's another great way to just be artists. And that's what Sadie taught us years ago. That's what my parents have taught us. And that's what we're teaching our kids and the community, that Sadie's is relevant in so many different ways. And, in addition to that, this is my mantra, and I know this has got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I say this to my wife and my brother and all the time. All I want to do is sing. That's all I want to do. But I have to keep going. I have to keep making those fun, because I just want to sing. I want to put a mic in my hand, put a camera on me, and I'm happy. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep cranking out those sopanadas. So I hope everybody can come down and check it out.
Well, I've had the privilege over the years of seeing you guys play. Like I said, I've been lucky to be friends with your brother for many, many years, and have been around some of those jam sessions. So it's kind of unique in the sense that you're very artistic in so many different ways of what you do. But I definitely, everybody has their favorite when they go to Sadie's. So I'm excited to taste the sopanada. That will be my next venture. You get there and you get kind of, I'm like, I like the same thing all the time.
Right.
Chicken tacos, that's my thing. And the Sadie salad, oh my God, your dressing's phenomenal. So anyways, I'm already hungry. Who's going to for lunch? Who's going to Sadie's for lunch?
Can I jump in real quick? I have a quick question for William.
Yeah, absolutely.
So William, if in the event that they don't lift the 25% capacity restriction and you still have the tents outside, like how are you guys going to accommodate when there's like legit snow outside and on the ground? And how do you potentially see that impacting your livelihood in terms of the Sadie's restaurants?
Well, we've put a lot of thought into that, and we didn't actually put tents out, because if you know, Sadie's on 4th has that large outdoor patio.
I used to play there almost like every other week with my boy Jaime Martinez, doing a trio, like a mariachi type.
I remember, and what we do in the winter time with that particular space is we'll put tent walls on the sides, and then we'll throw some heaters up. The issue is, and the thing that we talk about, and all restaurants and a lot of other businesses have this same thing coming up. We're going into the cold time, so we have to figure out how to stay relevant. And if we don't lift the 25%, the 4th Street location is in pretty good shape, because we have the outdoor patio that we can put heaters on. We've got the indoor patio. We've got the bar that Shannon loves, and we've got the main dining room. So even at 25%, we're pretty lucky and blessed. Some of these other businesses are not, and I think as a community and as a whole, we have to figure out ways to help everybody in some capacity. What we're trying to figure out is how we're going to deal with that if it doesn't get lifted. I'm on the positive side, at least from a thinking perspective, and I'm hoping that we go to at least 50% by mid to late October, if not sooner. That would help a lot of businesses, and particularly us. We've got all that land in the back. I don't know if Shannon, if you ever got to see any of our balloon glows, or
absolutely,
our band jams back there. And we've held off for now, but we can do something with that land as well. So that's kind of the answer to your question, Ryan. We're gonna do everything we can to just stay relevant and keep the people coming in. We haven't skipped a beat. Last Friday night, it was an 1.5-hour wait to get into the 25% that we had. And pre-COVID, 1.5-hour wait. We have also right now we're reevaluating what 100% means to us. And I think everybody should do that, because I gotta tell you, it's a lot more comfortable, although it's not where we were or where we could be, but it's more manageable. And so it's been a learning curve, but I think that we all have to reevaluate, what does 100% mean to us? Do we have to go as big as we were before? I personally like a little bit of space between my tables, and as a patron and as a business owner, it feels more comfortable. My staff is having a better time, just giving better service. That's been an issue too, and I guess we can talk about that later, but that was one of the biggest issues with this whole thing, is getting staff to come back.
We've definitely addressed that in a few previous webinars. Excuse me, but yeah, that has been an issue. But I really like what you said, William. I'm probably going to use that in the future, because it is that we actually, without saying those words, what is our new percentage? Like, what is it, 100%? And what is that new 100% to us? And I think it really allows for not just room and space, but it really allows for some consistency. I mean, I know you guys know how to run a restaurant at max capacity. Like I said, Friday nights is just, it's an incredible space, and you don't really miss a beat, which is really great. But what does the new space look like now? What does that new look like for all of us, for everybody? And so I think I'm going to be stilling that in the future. Ryan, I wanted to jump over to you. Tell us a little bit about what have been some of the things you've had to do to adjust during this COVID time, because I know you were performing all over the country. It's like where in the world is Waldo? It was where in the world is Ryan this weekend? You were all over. You're flying to do your music. So what have you been doing?
Like I mentioned earlier, I just made that transition from a live performance-based mechanism of getting my music out to people to a studio-based mechanism to get my music out. And it was funny because I've been doing my own booking for, I don't know, like 6-7 years. I reach out to festivals and promoters, and I go to their websites, I find their contact information, find out who the director is or the person who's in charge, the artistic director, and then I'll send them, my EPK, my electronic press kit, and all that stuff. And I was getting some success with that, and it was building. Albeit it was pretty slow, but it was building. And the metric I used to measure, success was how many yearly performances I was getting at festivals. And my goal wasn't to just do smaller venues or like jazz clubs or whatnot, although I would do those, but it was to do festivals and concert halls. And I was making slow progress, but it was kind of like just kind of the nature of cold calling and reaching out to people and asking for things. It could be a very it can sometimes be a negative experience. And if I had a particularly bad experience with a promoter and I would ask them for a performance and what I perceived to be would be a rude response or disrespectful response, that would really weigh on me, and it would bother me for several days, sometimes a week. And back in November of 2019, I had just gotten off the phone with the promoter, and it was a particularly bad exchange. And for me, it made me realize that this method of cold calling and trying to generate performances was not the best use of my time and my energy and my resolve. And so what I decided to do was transition back before COVID, pre-COVID, I was going to take the field of dreams approach. If you build it, they will come. And I made the decision I'm just going to create the best quality songs, put them out and do a radio campaign for each song, and just boom, one right after the other. And so when COVID hit and everything shut down, I had about 4 to 5 months of momentum, so to speak, behind of that. That was the transition that I already made. So I was lucky in that regard. And to be honest with you, from a music standpoint, I've been more satisfied and more fulfilled with this creative process of writing songs and how I write songs and how I can approach that as honestly as possible. And it's just been so fun, and it's been so rewarding because I feel like I'm creating the best quality music that I've ever done in my entire life. And I only want that to continue. I just want to keep creating the highest quality possible. And so, it'll be interesting, performances are slowly starting to trickle in and offers, but I'm in a position now where I if the money isn't right, because a lot of times these festivals, they'll offer you, they won't provide travel accommodations, they won't provide hotels or meals or anything. They just give you a flat rate. And for someone that's not in my position, where I'm not as established as some of these other jazz artists that have, really big names, the base rate that they offer you is super, super low. And so the offers that have been coming in, I have no problem saying, you know what, I appreciate the offer, but I can't go for that low of a price. And it's also very empowering to know that I have options in terms of I don't have to do it. Because whereas before, if someone offered me a low price for a performance, I would just be, okay, well, I look at it as a means to an end. The end being, I want, the big paying, high paying shows. And if I'm able to start at kind of the lower level and then build up, then that can be the means to the end. But now I'm at the point, it's like, I don't really have to take that. And I don't necessarily want to take that unless the, the compensation is right. So now I'm just going into the studio. I just put out a new single back at the end of May called Soulfully. And as of today, it's number 14 on the Billboard Jazz charts. And that song has become my most commercially successful single that I've ever had. And I think things that are meant to be, as they say in Spanish, que sera. And the fact that I'm getting a better response to my music now, I think is indicative of the choice, that it was the right choice. And I'm excited to see where it goes. And I'm just going to keep creating songs and keep putting them out through radio and see where it goes from there.
Well, Ryan, it sounds like what a lot of musicians and artisans that I've talked to in the past month or so have really discovered this time has been about self-worth. What is it for me? What have I been doing? How can I use this opportunity to not just propel me in a new direction, but also to really show my value? And I want to hold to that. And I really think that that's admirable. It's hard. It's hard to turn jobs down, especially right now. Who wants to turn dollars away? It's not a good time. But is it? Because if you don't do it now, will you ever do it? When we're at our worst, we should be our best. And so hopefully we're learning from all of these things and hoping that we can project that. So we're going to start winding down our hour, and I kind of just want to start. I'll skip over to Nina and Alex, but what do you guys have coming up, and how can somebody find you if they want more information about how to maybe get their child or their student into your program, and or where can we find some of these live performances? So share with us all the information.
So we have our online after school program. It's already rolling. You can go to ndi-nm.org and you can register and see all of the classes there. We teach from age 3 all the way up to adult level classes. So it's very accessible, and it's based on a sliding scale. It's actually pay what you can right now. So it's very affordable. Have you ever been interested in taking a class, or you've thought about maybe I should, try to put my child in a class, please give it a try. And I promise you won't be disappointed. We're going to do another virtual gala at the end of the year, and I'll pass that over to Nina because I think she definitely has more info on it than I do.
We want to keep a lot of it under wraps. We want to keep secrets. It's wonderful to have virtual gala surprises as needed.
Yes.
And I just want to kind of resonate with what William and Ryan are pointing out, which is like, we want to see things open. We would love in the spring, in January, to totally pivot it and make sure that we can share our real in-person gala experience, because that is 500 children live in our space. And again, going back to William's idea, like, what is the new 100%? Maybe we don't do 500 children live, but we still want to embrace the beauty. And again, I'm going to go back to the word culture, like just the dance and celebrating what the children have gone through for the year and celebrating it. So it's all based upon where we're at that time of the year. But our gala is typically in the beginning of May. That's what I would say right now. But our classes are wonderful. I want to go back actually to also say that our artistic team has always been about serving our families and serving our schools and the children directly. And so we have always thought about and listened to what they need and what they want and how we can reach them with everything that we can possibly provide them. So just being as creative as possible, and stay tuned for more information from NDI.
Well, what I love, especially coming from the event world, here with the chamber, I love that you guys are adjusting and learning about that. We have also are adjusting. We're keeping our fingers crossed for gala, because there's something about that in-person impact, and especially for you guys seeing that stage performance. It's the one thing that we are so hoping that we don't have to let go of, and is that performance, is that excitement of seeing that. And don't get me wrong, we watch TV, we go to movies, we see it all the time, but it's so different when it's in person. So we're gonna cross our fingers that you guys can pull that off next year. We're crossing our fingers too, because we want that for ourselves as well. But we're excited, and we're going to keep hoping for the best as we move forward. And we'll make sure that NDI-NM is on this link, but you can also find you guys on our website as well. So we're excited about that. Sean, now let's say that somebody wants to commission a special piece, like maybe moi, which you and I have talked about before. I'm so excited. We've got to get that done. Or maybe somebody wants to get with you about art classes for their kids, or maybe they're wanting to do some art as an adult. How can we find you?
Yeah, I'm actually everywhere. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, but I just wanted to take my last couple minutes to really challenge everybody to, one, find your saint. There's 10,000 saints. There's a saint of dance. There's a saint of music. There's a saint, I'm sure there's a saint of tamales. Just find your saint. No, I've got for William here, Pasquale, patron saint of the kitchen.
We have that. I have that picture. My mom's got it here.
That's cool. And just, find the artists that do that saint, and you can start your collection of that saint, to have 10 versions of St. Francis in the house. And then the second challenge is adopt a traditional artist, a Native American artist, a traditional Hispanic artist. Follow them, and you'll learn about the cultural stories, and ask questions about the image and what the meaning is, because we have a rich culture here, and a lot of us don't know the stories. I'm constantly learning, and I'm immersed in it. I'm constantly learning new stories about the history of New Mexico through the arts. So adopt an artist, follow them along. And I've got I'm going to screen share real quick. Oh, it's disabled. Do you mind activating it? And I'll share a special
There's
promo
probably
code for our
somebody-
watchers. If they want to.
Angelique or New Mexico Tech, can you allow Sean to share?
Okay.
You can go ahead and do that now.
All right, here's a special promo code, AHCC 2020 will get you 20% off my Etsy shop. If you want to peruse that, you'll see my Day of the Dead art and my traditional santos, and I call them my saints and my sinners. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. And actually, I wanted to say it was so fun to meet all of you and talk shop with you guys. And I would like to invite Nina and Alex to maybe come up with a quick chair dance to teach us, because I'm not in TikTok, but I want to go that direction. So like, could you come up with like 5 moves for a custom move? And then I feel like William should like give us a few bars, Ryan should give us a couple of notes.
We might have to close up.
Yeah, he's ready. See, Ryan's ready.
Out in just a minute. He's going to take us out in just a minute for sure. But Sean, I'm excited to reach out to you because we do have some fun stuff coming up. And I'm glad that you said adopt an artist, because I think you're going to like what we have coming up. And we want you to be a main part of that. So I'm super excited. William, before we get to Ryan, I want to just say, tell us where and how we can, we know where Sadie's is located, but are you guys online? How can we find you? Tell us about your catering. Tell us about your salsa products. Where can we find you?
Well, where you can find us everywhere. Online, we've got a Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that fun stuff. sadiesofnewmexico.com, sadiessalsa.com. We'll be continuing our Harvest Fest through October. We're roasting on Saturdays through October 17th. You can contact any of our restaurants. Our salsa right now is in 9,000 stores across the nation and growing. So if you've got a jar in your possession, there's a website on there on the label. You can check that out. So yeah, we're there. You can find us. It's easy. You can find me on Facebook, either through Sadie's of New Mexico or just William R. Stafford. I'm always happy to just hang out. And, like I said before, all I want to do is sing. So if that means talking on forums, and that's fine, that's singing to me and being able to just get our products out there and have some fun. But yeah, I would definitely encourage everybody to come out and check this cool menu that we've got going on. The Chili Harvest menu it's only going to be there through maybe another month and a half. And then a few of those items will make it onto the regular menu, but it would be a blast. And then maybe perhaps the 5 of us should meet at Sadie's, and then you two ladies can teach us some dance moves there. Huh?
Well,
while we're eating our food.
It sounds like I'm going to have to invite this amazing, crazy cast out for one of our Sadie's outings. I'm super excited. It'll be a fun afternoon for sure. So we will plan that before October 17th for sure.
I'd love to have you.
My flute, so I can accompany
what you guys do. And for anybody that maybe hasn't been to Sadie's lately or doesn't know about the famous margaritas, we'll make sure that this team gets out there for sure. So Ryan, we would love to hear how we can find you and how somebody can reach out to you. And then you are more than welcome to take us out with a few bars. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you to Walmart, who is one of our sponsors this month. I want to say thank you to New Mexico Tech, all the little elves behind the screen. Thank you to NDI and our partnership. We really appreciate you guys. And this year's kind of been a little awkward, but we can't wait to get back into the groove of things. I want to thank Sean for everything you've done. We thank you so much. And by the way, I want to thank Sadie's. 25 plus years members of the chamber. I mean, come on, that is like incredible. There's no other way. One of our longest running members. So so much love and thank you to you guys for supporting the community and the chamber. And of course, Ryan's going to take us out with how to find him. We're thankful to Ryan and looking forward to the future with Ryan Montano. So tell us how to find you and take us out, Ryan, with something fun.
Absolutely. Thank you. So the best way to get a hold of me would be through my website. You can email me, ryan@ryanmontano.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and farmersonly.com. So you guys can find me there. And William, if you ever want to sing a song with my band, you're more than welcome to come and jam with us. And I sent everybody a friend request on Facebook. So we'll all be connected there. And it was nice talking with everybody. And I'm really thankful to Shannon and the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. And I'm happy to be a member. And I hope 25 years from now, we could be talking about how I've been a member for 25 years.
Hope so too. Thank you, everybody. You guys have a great Wednesday. Stay tuned. We're going to have our golf tournament next Monday. So we're going to be coming to you live all week, National Small Business Week, plus our sold out golf tournament. And so we'll be coming to you live all next Monday in place of the webinar. But we will see you back here on Wednesday, next Wednesday at noon, sharing some more cultural activities, fun, and excitement from our community here in the very best city in the country, Albuquerque, New Mexico. You guys have a great afternoon, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.